Hi there. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We just left off at the beginning of a new case after some interesting revelations at the end of the last case. Along with the revelation that currently don't have our license to practice law anymore, it would seem. But as of right now, we're still in the present day, having just received that letter, I presume from Cesato. But yeah, and from what I gathered, this is gonna be kind of a flashback case. Is what's gonna be going on here. So let's get back into it. Again, sorry if my voices aren't the best. I'm still a little injured from the events of the past few days. Oh, I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready. Oh, good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though... you didn't let me finish my sentence, dude. Come on. What was I gonna say? Oh, I have some news. I had a surprise this morning. Anyway, hey, by the way, I completely undersold. It's Sholmes, everyone's favorite Great Ace Attorney character. He's back in a new game. Fuck yeah. Shh. Not another word, Mr. Naruhodo. This could be just the obtruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation-repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. Morning to you too, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, I see. Oh my god! Get the fuck out of my face, dude. Back up, Jack. Man, I should have left off the last episode at that image. That would have been something of quite the thumbnail, wouldn't it? Ah, the truth is as clear to me as day. My faculties of observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have, this very morning, met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? I mean, yeah, it's true, but I kind of mentioned it before I was going to mention it before you interrupted me. Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Okay, that's a little bit... I can say the same thing for you, pal, in terms of unkempt hair. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? Ah, but of course. No, I don't look for admiration, you understand. My hair always looks like this. It's, like, literally been this way since I first met you. Oh, yeah, it has. And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you. Oh. Hallie pulled your button off? Damn, I didn't know you guys were going steady like that. Ah, yes. I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Aw, man. Herlock takes his violin pretty darn seriously, doesn't he? Yeah, little wonder then, that in my vexation I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring. But Hurley, Bruno said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning. Yeah, I did kind of say that. Are you gonna like fall back in surprise? Oh, you're just gonna have a laugh. Okay, well, that works too. I wouldn't expect anything less from my good friend Herlock Sholmes. Well, that really is a surprise. This is Herlock Sholmes. He's a dumb dude, but I love him all the same. Yes, this man's pride of the British Empire. The famous consulting detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. You can take that as an insult to Britain, or not, depending. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name, even though I didn't know his name before actually meeting him. Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it goes cold. And Iris is a nice young lady who isn't mean like Herlock. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend. And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion. A truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yeah, I mean, she's a doctor and an author and an inventor. She's pretty OP, man. Yes, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, as published in Rance magazine. So, Mr. Naruhodo, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Ah, well, I received a letter from Japan. Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it? Really? That's right. And she had some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast. Oh, yes! What fun! By the way, Herlock, how do you feel about my armband? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, about this. Shh, not another word. Ah, yes, I see. This would be a collar for a breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck, and for winter use. Actually, it's the armband that I always wear that symbolizes my role as a defense lawyer. Yeah, precisely, which leads us to but one conclusion. Your arm is in fact the particularly long neck of a miniature canine. I'm sorry, what? You sure about that one? You wanna... I think you might want to run that one back a bit and think about it, what you just said, Herlock, my boy. I'm starting to wish I'd never shown him this now. The man's barking mad. Yeah, because dogs and such. Ha ha ha. Okay, well, technically, I know I've examined this room before, but, you know, maybe there are new observations to be had, considering. Oh, look at that! Herlock got his, fucking, like, quantum analyzer doohickey mabob back from the pawn shop. Ain't that nice? That machine really is imposing, isn't it? But I can never remember its name. Hurley calls it his great analytoscope. It can analyze anything at all. Yeah, see that. You know. Same general idea. That doesn't really help me. What does analyzing something even mean? Ah, an extremely astute question, Mr. Naruto. Sorry. Well, as I said, my machine here spits out analysis results of anything with which you care to present it. But how to interpret those results, that's the key. And I confess I have no idea. Clearly, I'm going to have to construct a great analytoscope to solve the problem. Really? A great analytoscope? That seems a bit like kind of just adding more steps to the process. Because I mean, then you're gonna need an analytoscope for your analytoscope, you know. And frankly, that's a little too much analysis for one man to handle, I think. That might not help, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like that's kind of just delaying the inevitable, so to speak. By the way, how's your Stradivarius treating ya? Ah, yes, Mr. Sholmes' faithful musical companion. Wasn't this violin made by somebody famous? Yeah, it was a Stradivarius, was it not? Yes, it's a Stradivarius! Yeah, exactly. Though I'm afraid you had to save up for 100 years before you could afford one, Bruno. Well, damn, you don't gotta rub my fucking poverty in my face. How'd Herlock get one then, if they're so expensive? But didn't you buy it for a song, Mr. Sholmes? Yeah, exactly. I found it at a pawnbrokery among the forfeited articles. It clearly said Stradivarius on the labels. What? Yeah, the ignorant broker had no idea of its true value, you see. So I paid a mere 55 shillings for it. Ah, yes, I have something of a turn for shopping. Herlock Sholmes, bargain hunter. Oh, well, hey, knowing when to, knowing how to find good deals, you know, that's definitely a skill to be admired. What, Rinosuke, you doubt him? But, is it really a Stradivarius, then? Yeah, but of course, my dear fellow. It said so on the label. Yeah, and I'm sure the pawnbroker would never be dishonest or mislead you. I think perhaps the ignorant broker had something of a turn for selling. Yeah, maybe. But I mean, we've heard it play before, you know, it still sounds pretty good. So even if it's not a true Stradivarius, it's still not a bad little guy. Books, papers, scientific implements, these shelves are stuffed to the gunnels. I'd never heard that word before. Mrs. Otto wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. She can't stand mess. But Mrs. Otto's not here. Oh, Susie, why'd you gotta go and leave me behind? Susie might not be able to stand mess here now, but she wouldn't dare touch those shelves. Oh? Well, why not? Everything's in intricate balance. Hell, he spent ages on it. If you were to touch even one thing, the whole lot would come tumbling down. And you know what happens when the walls keep tumbling down beneath the city that we love? Susie noticed it was a very delicate arrangement right from the outset. Make it sound like a meeting of great minds. But the truth is, Mr. Sholmes just needs to tidy the fuck up. I mean, yeah, but also I can't really blame him. I don't necessarily keep a tidy quarter, so you know, when you're in glass houses, you can't throw stones. When it gets to this time of year, Londoners seem to leave their hairs alight all day long, and I love it. There's something very relaxing about watching the flames flit and dance about. And you're easily amused, aren't you, Ryunosuke? Yeah, but a fireplace in days of summertime is a waste of space. Really, no use at all, Oh, rather like a great detective in days of no crimes and no criminals. Hurley? Damn, getting called out by your fucking 10-year-old flatmate. Yeah, but consider this. Instead of a fireplace, a frost place. That's my latest idea. An extraordinary hearth from which emanates a cool breeze in the hot summer months. What do you think? I mean, that kind of sounds like air conditioning, but also, yeah, I mean, that's probably not a bad idea. I think if you invented such a thing, your name would go down in history. And could you imagine Herlock Sholmes, inventor of air conditioning? The principle is extremely simple. One must, of course, light a cold fire in the hearth. Wait, a cold fire? What? Yes, of course. Brilliant. The trouble is, none of the fires I build ever burn cold. How it taunts me. Yeah, I mean, fires are known for being kind of hot. So, as you British say, it's a bit of a damp squib, isn't it? Yeah, man, you see Ryunosuke's picking up the slang. Let's check out this vault, or chest rather. That's clearly that's like, I believe it's hiding the manuscript. Oh, but no, never mind. Well, where's the manuscript at now? Because fucking, you know, Windibank is gone. So like, are we still keeping the manuscript there at Herlock's, or at Windibank's? I mean, or did we move it somewhere else? I wonder. Yes, the huge metal chest with a lace cloth laid on it, being used as a table for tea and coffee. It's very sturdy, that's for sure, and firmly locked shut. I wonder what's oh yeah, that's what it was. The manuscript wasn't there, but it was her dad's records of Hurley's cases and what she used as the basis for her stories. Yeah, that's what it was. That chest contains my father's detailed records of Hurley's many cases. Yes, so I've been led to believe. Though, you know, personally, I've never actually seen inside. And that's the way it will stay. Those papers are a secret between Daddy and me. If you go opening it uninvited, you might find yourself being bitten. Is that a fucking threat, Iris? Jesus. What? Is there a beast inside there or something? Yeah, like, imagine hiding a beast in such a place. Let's see, what about this stuff again? These are different pieces of evidence from cases you've solved, aren't they, Mr. Sholmes? Not quite, Mr. Naruhodo, not quite. These trinkets are a selection from cases I've solved with particular aplomb. They are souvenirs of my success. Memories, Mr. Naruhodo. Memories. Isn't that what I just fucking said, though? Really? So tell me about the case in which the bust of Napoleon featured. I forget. Memories, he says. Wonderful, Mr. Sholmes. Wonderful. Well, hey, you know, the years go by and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. Head to the heels when I hit the town running, you know. I'm sure Herlock leads a busy life. I look forward to finding out what aroma your tea will have, Iris, every single day. Well, I infuse a different concoction of herbs from the garden every time, so it's never the same twice. Huh, when you call it a concoction, it sounds more like a science experiment than something for tea time. Oh yes! That's because different blends can have very different properties. Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly. That's the ones where more. Okay, well, I hope you're not slipping any like white powders into your teas, Iris. Some give you energy. Today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat. That sounds ominous. I'm sure it's fine. Anyway, what math do you have going on now, Iris? Looks like a fucking, what is that, a parabola? A parabola? A line? You're graphing something. Ah, yes. This is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's in the melting pot today? The blue carbuncle. I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. Yes, it's from a case of theft that Herlock solved ages ago. The theft of a precious stone. A carbuncle is another name for a garnet, you see. Especially if it's cut with a rounded top. Oh, so it is. I feel like I've heard that story before. Oh, really? And this garnet was blue, was it? Well, that's the thing, you know? They're usually red. No blue garnets have ever been discovered. Oh. Well, then what the fuck was it then, if it's not a blue garnet? So who knows what the stolen gemstone actually was? Isn't that your job? Oh, I guess Herlock's job, rather? That's the real mystery of the case. A proper Herlock Sholmes conundrum, huh? Yeah, if it's a garnet or a carbuncle or if it's blue or red or what even, you know? There are so many different bottles up there in that charming little set of white shelves. Oh, do be careful, Bruno. You mustn't try the contents of any of those bottles, even if you're hungry. Oh, what's the worst that could happen? Am I gonna blow up? I wouldn't do something stupid like that. I'm not a child, you know. Well, I wish I could say the same for Herlock. The other day, he polished off a full bottle of one of my alkaloids. I'm sorry, what? That's not good. Did you take him to fucking poison control? Did you take him to the hospital? Is he gonna be alright? He what? He said he was hungry. Okay, I mean, I get that, but like, just drinking random things, or alkaloid, was this like a liquid or metal or like a solid thing? You said it's a full bottle, so I assume it's like a drink. But either way, that's bad. Don't do that. I'll be extra careful. Okay, well, I'll have to keep an eye on Herlock to make sure he doesn't fucking drop dead in the middle of this case. I can tie with my eyes shut, you know. I can believe it. When a deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun. Clack, 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 clack. That's my impression of a Gatling gun. Oh, that reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one. It woke me, actually. I was typing for a whole hour with the pitch black, but I didn't make a single mistake. Oh, that sounds like a good dream. But then, when it got light, I found that there wasn't any paper in the machine. Oh, that's unfortunate. Now I wonder if I'd actually been typing at all. I think you might just have fallen asleep on the job. Which, hey, I mean, it happens to the best of us. Okay, I think that's everything here in Herlock's abode. Now we can talk. This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning, by international post. Oh, how lovely! Look at Susie's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it. And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case. Holy dooly. I bet Ryunosuke was proud to hear that. Ah! Really? Oh, isn't she wonderful? Indeed. I think we're all kind of Susato pilled at this point. A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I mean, I can't really argue that point, to be honest. I've won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume. No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do! We helped the man, like, twice. You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago? Ah, the mustache, twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and the mustache. You mentioned mustache twice, my dude. Yeah, I didn't have 2 mustaches, my guy. He didn't have 2 mustaches, Hallie. Yes, who could forget those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although, I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. A very deep impression they made on you, clearly. Well, what's the startling news? Yeah, well, I mean, I have an idea, but still, tell the rest of the class, Ryunosuke. So, what was this startling news pinned by Miss Susato? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes. It's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Mrs. Otto asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. Oh, it took place half a year ago. For what purpose? Because of something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings. I am curious about that, as to why our dad felt the need to lie. Be a wheezy little liar, dude, you know? Oh? On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Mrs. Otto's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram. Oh, that case! Yeah, I remember that case. It was like it was yesterday. Oh, it was very strange, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, I wasn't there, so I couldn't tell you. And I had compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript, ready for publication, too. Ah, but then Hallie here was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, he said. Very mysteriously as well. Really? I said that? Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? About why Mrs. Otto was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan? Yeah, because, like, I mean, I want to know. Because clearly her dad ain't sick. Because he's right as fucking rain. It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan. Yeah, man, I'm still broken up about it. Indeed it was. Due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right. Telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. Well, no, not... Yeah, he was sick, not dead. No. It just said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse. A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so she'd make the voyage back home? Yeah, seems like it. I don't know why he'd be a wheezy little liar, dude, but seems like it. Why would he do that? I have to admit, I don't got a fucking clue. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Well, no, I want to hear about the fucking case of the haunted lodgings, man. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder what Miss Sasato's father is hiding. Maybe he's like secretly evil. I mean, who knows? Hallie, do you know what it's all about? Oh, hey. You're all dressed up and ready to go. Ah, well, who can say? What? But you said... Please, I have regained us, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. Don't fucking dip out of here without answering our questions. Or my questions, primarily. And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel. Even if I were quite at leisure. So, mend the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris? I will, Hurley. Don't worry. Now, I'll see you later. Goodbye, chat. He scuttled off rather quickly there. Yeah, that's a little bit strange. I think perhaps Professor Mikotopa isn't the only person hiding something here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure their name rhymes with motherfucking Herlock Holmes. Or Sherlock Holmes, rather. Soseki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Sholmes. Aha! I found them at last! Iris, are they... Oh, the notes about the case. That's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Bruno? Yes, please. Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. Perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light. That's the spirit. Okay, I guess now we're gonna be... And so, yeah, okay, I guess now we're officially going back in time. Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened, to our investigation, and that fierce battle in court that followed. We're living every detail. I just need to find a clue. And I have all the time in the world. It's not like my job, you know. Because of course, I am no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. Yeah, unfortunate. I mean, come on, man. I didn't know that fucking Magnus McGilded was McGuilty. Can you really hold it against me for not knowing any better? I mean, I really don't think it's my fault. If anything, it's McGilded's fault. Why don't you penalize McGilded? It was 6 months ago. A mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London. Okay, I remember her. She got stabbed. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Briar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The follow-up was sick, and nobody saw her attacker, but by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time and was duly arrested. Yeah, that kind of sucked. Yeah, sorry about that, Soseki-san. That man was Soseki-san, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Suzaru-san and I decided to represent Soseki-san in court. And, after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence. Yeah, that's for sure. Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Was the man's reaction after this trial. But his jubilant jubilation was short-lived. God, it's like a fucking, behind the music documentary, except it's Soseki-san's life. We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. The victim of the Briar Road... Oh, wait, he's saying the line, I guess. The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Bot at once. Okay, well, hey, that's good, at least. So Suzaru and I summoned a hansom... Is that another, I assume it's some sort of carriage or transportation. And headed immediately to the hospital. Oh, hey, I guess we'll get to meet the lady who got stabbed. 21st of February, 5:30 a.m. at St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Is that the same one where Herlock was being kept? I feel like it was the same one. Maybe not. I don't know. Well, either way, since we're going to be meeting a new person, why not? This seems as good a place as any to leave this episode off. Yeah. I guess now we're properly starting the case after the, prologue and build up and again Herlock being weird and shit. But either way, I'm definitely interested to figure out just what happened and how apparently it relates to the events of Eugen's lying to Susato about being sick. But yeah, next episode though we will meet the victim of Soseki-san's first case, so that should be something. But until then, I will see you around.